Welcome to another bonus edition of Upon Further Review.
Upon further review,
And in this edition, we'll be talking about the Arizona Cardinals at the Oakland Raiders. And you can catch this Week 7 matchup on October 19th at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time. And that'll be aired on your local Fox affiliates. The Arizona Cardinals enter this game with a record of 4-1, and the Oakland Raiders are 0-5. And the Cardinals started off 3-0 as they were one of two undefeated teams, as they were one of the last teams to go down and lose this year. They started off by winning in Week 1 at home against the Chargers, as they're the only team that's beaten the Chargers this year. Then they went to New York and they beat the Giants. Then they hosted the Niners and they beat San Fran. They then had their bye week, and then they went to Denver and they lost their first game of the year. They lost bad. They lost by 3 touchdowns. Of course, Carson Palmer had been injured for a few games at that point, so they weren't at full strength. And then last week, in Week 6, Carson Palmer came back. He wasn't 100%, but 80% is what they said he was, and that's all they needed, as they beat the Redskins by 10 points in Arizona. And Carson Palmer at 80% is still better than most quarterbacks at 100%. And with Oakland, they are yet to win. Derek Carr has been impressive in his rookie campaign, although they have not put up a win in the W column. But they lost their first game in New York by just 5 points to the Jets, and then they hosted the Texans and they lost that one by 16. Then they went to New England and lost to the Patriots by just 7 points. They almost won that game. Then they hosted the Dolphins and they got beat up on pretty bad by the Dolphins, 38-14. They lost by 24 points in that game. And then in Week 5, they had the bye, as they were recovering from that game over in London against the Dolphins. And then they ended up hosting the San Diego Chargers, and they nearly beat the Chargers, but they lost by 3 points at home to San Diego. So they show up when they, play top competition, as you see. I mean, they lost to both the Patriots and the Chargers by just 1 possession. They also lost to the Jets by 1 possession as well. But New England and San Diego are 2 of the top teams in the AFC, and the Raiders played them tight. So maybe they make it interesting against Arizona here in Week 7. But let's look inside the numbers. And when it comes to the passing offense, the Cardinals are 22nd in the NFL in passing yards per game, and the Raiders are 21st. So they're pretty evenly matched there. But we look at passing defense, the Cardinals are a shocking 32nd against the pass, which is really a big shocker. They got Patrick Peterson. What's going on, Arizona? And then the Raiders are 11th against the pass. So you got to give the advantage in the passing game to Oakland, as they're right there evenly matched on offense, but the defense, so the Cardinals, has been letting up a lot of yards, and so Derek Carr should have a pretty good game. Of course, Arizona's stats are a little bit skewed by the fact that Carson Palmer did not, play 3 of those games. He went out in one of the games, and then the next couple he didn't start, so, that's not really quite, indicator as how good the passing attack is, and I almost would say that you give the advantage to the Cardinals, but technically speaking, with the numbers as they are, you got to go with the Raiders in the passing attack. Let's look at the running offense of both these teams, and both of these teams struggle with a capital S to run the ball. The Cardinals are 30th in the NFL in rushing yards per game, and the Raiders are 31st. So they have no running game to speak of on either team. But then with run defense, as bad as the Cardinals are against the pass, that's how good they are against the run. They are 3rd in the NFL when it comes to running defense. So that's a big strength for their team. The Raiders, by contrast, are 31st. So they cannot stop the run to save their life. So the advantage in the running game goes to the Cardinals, even though they can't run the ball too well. But Andre Ellington should be able to put up some numbers against the Raiders, and they should be able to shut down the Raiders and force them to have to pass the ball. So it's going to be all on Derek Carr's arm for Oakland in this game. And we look at the points for and against. The Cardinals are 25th when it comes to scoring, and the Raiders are dead last. They're 32nd in the NFL with putting points on the scoreboard. And then we look at points against. The Cardinals are 10th in the NFL in points allowed. The Raiders are 26th. So the clear advantage there goes to Arizona. So although the Raiders have the advantage in the passing game, statistically speaking, overall, the Cardinals have the clear advantage in this game without a doubt. I mean, come on. Obviously, they're 4-1. The Raiders are 0-5. And you look inside the numbers, the only chance really the Raiders have is to take advantage of the Cardinals' lack of passing defense in terms of yards allowed. Of course, I think that's also kind of, a little bit of a misnomer in a way, because you got to look at who has the Cardinals gone against. They went against Phillip Rivers. They went against Eli Manning. They went against Colin Kaepernick. They went against Peyton Manning. And then they went against Kirk Cousins. Now, granted, Kirk Cousins, isn't necessarily the best quarterback in terms of protecting the ball, but he does put up numbers. Peyton, he's a Hall of Famer, one of the best passers ever. He put up 41 against them, and he had a big day. And then, Colin Kaepernick, although he's not known to be the best, throwing quarterback, he still is very talented and can put up numbers through the air and on the ground. And then Eli, he can put up numbers when he shows up. And, of course, Phillip Rivers is having a great season. He's one of the top quarterbacks. Of course, though, they did shut him down, though. So it's kind of weird that the Cardinals have such a bad passing defense in terms of yards allowed. But, yeah, they allow yards, but they don't allow touchdowns. And so you're going to see a lot of field goals, at least attempts, from Oakland. And I think that the Cardinals should be in the end zone. I think the Cardinals will win this game by at least a touchdown, maybe more. I mean, maybe the Raiders make it interesting, and who knows, maybe they somehow find a way to win. But they're going to have a huge performance from Derek Carr for that to happen. And so far in the year, Carr, he's got 1,016 yards. Not really that impressive. I mean, for a rookie, though, he's doing all right. He doesn't have a lot of talent around him, though, is part of the problem. He's thrown 8 touchdowns and 5 picks, so the Cardinals can pick him off. That'll even add to the Raiders' troubles and help the Cardinals to win this game by a bigger margin. And Carson Palmer has yet to throw an interception. He has been exceptional at protecting the ball, and the Cardinals have not thrown an interception, period. Even, Drew Stanton, he did not throw any picks in his time relieving Palmer, as he had to play for him for a couple weeks there. So they're really excellent at protecting the ball. And so the Cardinals, they don't make mistakes, and they should have a pretty good game against Oakland. I think Ellington, he's got 305 yards on the ground so far this year. Wouldn't be surprised to see him pick up 100 in this game. I wouldn't be shocked if he does that. He also is decent at picking up the ball out of the backfield on receptions. He's got 188 receiving yards on the year. So I think the Cardinals should get some good production out of Ellington, and I think Palmer should have a pretty good game, and he should spread the ball around. I think the defense of Arizona should improve their stats, especially in the air. Of course, Carr is capable of putting up numbers, and maybe he makes it interesting, but I really think the Cardinals win this game, and they should win it pretty easily. At least that's what I think. I think they win it by double digits, definitely by a touchdown. It is in Oakland, though, so maybe they can make it interesting. But either way, Cardinals win this one all the way. That's what I think. Let me know what you think by leaving a comment below. Very interested in your thoughts and opinions. And if you like the show, make sure to hit the like button. How else would we know you like the show? Also, if you would like more of this content, be sure to subscribe as we bring you upon further reviews and recaps for each and every single football game, each and every single week of the NFL season and throughout the playoffs all the way through the Super Bowl. We're also covering the baseball playoffs. We have been since the wild card, and now we're down to the World Series. Just 2 teams, the Giants and the Royals. Very excited for that, so keep an eye out for that. We also coverage college football as well, and we do a weekly show for the pro football. It's called The Wedge, where we do our quick picks, our fantasy fortune fantasy football picks. We also do a weekly rewind of the week that was, and we also do our upon further review for the Thursday night game, so keep an eye out for that. We put that up midweek, as early as Tuesday, no later than Thursday. We always have that up before the Thursday night game. Usually it's up on Wednesday, but make sure to check out even on Tuesday. We usually get the quick picks up. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you very much for listening. We greatly appreciate it. I hope you're having a good day and have a great weekend and enjoy all of the sports.